Today I'd like to talk to you about pot. No, not that kind. That kind. Hey, what's happening, guys? Hope you're enjoying your lockdown as much as I am, which means not at all. But today I want to talk to you about pot, or potentiometers, basically. I'm sure you're all familiar with them, but I thought we could do a little bit of a deeper dive. Anyway, let's zoom in. Your basic potentiometer is a 3-terminal device that acts as a variable voltage divider. Of course, you already knew that, right? Well, they come in many shapes and sizes, and I'm sure you're familiar with them. We have these little guys here, which are often referred to as trimmers. And then these, which are also referred to as trimmers. And these are all about the same thing. Then you have our standard size. And then you also have a little bit different construction. This is a multi-turn or a 10-turn pot. You would have to do 10 full rotations of the dial to go from one end of the pot to the other. Whereas with these guys, not even a full rotation, it's about 70 to 80% rotation. It takes you through the entire range of your variable voltage divider. But did you know there are some different kinds of pots? Well, there's probably hundreds or thousands of types of pots, but I want to talk about 3 of the most common that you are going to see. And it refers to the taper of the pot. And by the taper, what we mean is the relationship between the angular rotation of the knob and the ratio of the voltage. And here in the United States, we have A, B, and C, where A is basically your straight linear curve, B is a logarithmic, or what's known as an audio taper, and C is simply a reverse log, or audio taper. So if we look at this kind of on a graph, where in the horizontal position we have the fraction of total rotation, whether our pot is, at 10%, 50%, 90%, whatever. So if we start with the type A pot, and we have this point here, which we'll call 0, 0, and we'll go to this point up here, which we'll call 1, 1, well then, your linear or your type A pot is going to be a straight line. And at the 50% mark, you're going to be at about 50% of the total voltage. I know that's not the 50% point, but it's close enough. Okay? Then the next type of pot, that line there represents our A. This one represents B, our audio taper pot. And at our 50% point, you can see we're nowhere near 50% of our voltage ratio or voltage output. In fact, we might be between 10 to 20%. And then finally, we have our type C, which is the reverse. And again, at our 50% point, we might be around 80% of our total voltage output. So our 2 logarithmic pots are mainly used for audio volume controls, where the other ones might be used for tone controls or something along those lines. I've set up a neat little demonstration for you. Let me get it set up. What I have here are 3 10K potentiometers. And if we zoom in, you can see we have the Type C, which is the reverse audio, the Type B, which is the standard audio, and the Type A, which is linear. Now I just got them set up on a standard breadboard here. Now my power supply is set for about 9 volts. We'll hook up some power to it. And we shall bring in the meter. Today's meter is the Must Tool MDS 8207, which is a combination multimeter and oscilloscope. So that's kind of neat. Let me turn out these super bright overheads here so you can see the meter a little bit better. And we'll get her hooked up here. Okay, so I have our ground hooked up down here. And we'll do the Type A first. And we're clipped onto the wiper there. And as I rotate, you can see how we go through that. I'm going to try and get this as close to 50% as possible. It's close to 50% on there. I don't have those marks lined up exactly. And you can see we're at like a 5.7 volts. That's our linear. Now we'll go over to the audio taper pot. And watch how the value changes. Now that we're past the halfway point, watch how quickly we go up there. See? That's at about 90% rotation, about 80. There's about 70. So between 70 and 100% rotation, we're going from what's 6.5 volts to our full output. And the other 70% of the rotation, so the final 30%, we're going between about 3 volts. The first 70% of our rotation, we're going up to 6 volts. So you can see how that's much different. And let's set this guy at about 50% here. There we are, a little over halfway. Now, the reverse audio taper pot, you're going to notice a lot of output right away. See, we're at just about 50%, and we're already 7.5 volts. And then it takes the rest of that rotation just to get about 1.5 volts out of it. So many different types of pots. You just have to find one that you need for your application. Little tiny pots will work well for SMD work. There are also digital potentiometers that can be set with a microcontroller. But that's a subject for a different day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. We're so close to 80,000. I feel that we're going to make 100,000 this year. And when we do, we're going to do something big. I have no clue what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be something. So let me know what you guys would like to see when we reach 100,000. Because I couldn't do it without you. All right. That's it. I'm out. Peace. I want to thank you all for watching and spending time with me today. A community like this is something that we can all be very proud of.
So again, thank you very much for all your support of Learn Electronics. Please feel free to check out the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask, and really helps keep the channel alive. We also have an Amazon shop where you can buy most of the items that you see on here, and there's a link to it down below.